There is no leveling of measure of grief. There is no leveling of measure of pain when it comes to the loss of a loved one. You will believe that you will hurt more for one person than the other. With each loss, there is a different level of hurt and there is a different level of grief. That's your 30. Good morning. It is a beautiful, peaceful, clear, and sunny morning here in Michigan where I am. It is 11:2400 hours, which means it is 11:24 a.m. for you civilians. We would like to thank all of our veterans for their service. We'd like to thank those current service members who are serving. We would like to thank all of our civil service workers, firemen, policemen, paramedics, doctors, nurses. We thank you all. And if today is your birthday, happy birthday. And if you are experiencing the loss of a loved one, you have our deepest condolences. Before we begin with this episode, we want to thank the young man responsible for the background and theme music for 30 Seconds of Encouragement, Mr. Dalvin Walton Jr. We call him Debo. Thank you, Debo. August 19th and August 20th of this year, 2025, I suffered the loss of two sisters. The oldest sister passed on the 19th, and then the sister that is 8 months older than I am, she passed away the next day on the 20th. The oldest sister, that was and was not expected. We knew that there would be a day that she would leave here. She had been sick for some time, and we knew that there would be a day where we would receive a call. But for my sister that was 8 months older than me, that was totally unexpected. And I was very close to her. I never knew that you could grieve someone more than you could grieve your child. My oldest son was murdered January 1st, 2016. And I grieve him every day because he was taken away from me. Someone took him from me. And my sister, for her to leave me so early, I grieve her as well. Just was not expecting her to leave here, not at this age. Her being 53 and I'm 52. I'll be 53 here in a couple of months. And for her to leave here this young in life, it hurt. I believe that we would live longer. She's a mother, I'm a mother. She's a grandmother, I'm a grandmother. And there were just things that we did together. We have relationship. You always have this different relationship with all your siblings. And she was the sister that I could talk to about anything. She the same with me. And I have another sister that do that as well. But I had two go-tos. And I only have one. And with this sister, we shared something special in eating fish dinners together. She would come to my house. I would fry fish and fries, and we would eat and just talk for hours. Or I would, cut her hair, and we would just sit and talk for hours. Or I would go to her house, and we would sit and have our favorite adult beverage and whatever else we would eat, because she was like this master chef. You've been cooking since I don't know when, but we would just sit and eat and just enjoy each other, just talk about anything and whatever. Anytime one of us had an issue, we could come to each other. And to not be able to text her, call her, go sit at her house for hours at the time, or her come sit at my house for hours at the time, for that to be gone, man, that hurts. I can't express it enough. And it explains, some things. The family, we had just celebrated a big victory for the 9 years that I had been fighting for the trial to begin for the person that murdered my son. Trial began on July 28th, and it was a verdict brought in of guilty by July 31st. A 9-year battle, and with the blink of an eye, it was over that quick. And I'm thankful that my sister lived to see that and experience that. Now, sentencing for the person who murdered my son is next month. And I really believe that my sister would be here. I just had no doubt that she would be gone. There was no warning of anything wrong. So with that, I once again knew that I had her support going into this sentencing for this person who murdered my son, her nephew. And to not have her there for that, there's an emptiness there. To not be able to talk to her about that. Because I don't talk to everybody about the ins and outs of that. Information that people didn't know about. Things that were going on behind the scene that people didn't know about. She knew that we could sit and we could talk about that. But with this, I don't have that. I still have my other sister, which I'm thankful for that. But me and Tamika, we could just sit for longer periods of time and talk about it and just support and comfort each other in the whole situation. Because me and my son was taken away. Her nephew was taken from her. I am thankful though that she got to see the trial come to pass and end, and with the verdict that we know was deserved and was supposed to be guilty. Now we hadn't had our sit down and our dinner after the verdict of the trial. Because my sister just gave me time to process things. She know that was my way. After I have something big like that, I just need time, keep it quiet, just chill out, be in my own thoughts. We would text back and forth, she would check on me, those type of things. But as far as visits, we hadn't visited each other. She was just giving me time, and I thank her for that, because I was just processing. I didn't understand why I wasn't having any type of emotion behind it. I didn't understand why I wasn't feeling any type of way. I was just numb, and that wasn't the reaction that I thought I would have. Of course, no, I hadn't been through anything like this before. This is my son. He was murdered. Went through a 9-year fight for the state of Louisiana to begin that trial. The young man who killed him, he the one opted for trial. So all this prolonging and all those shenanigans, spent 9 years, fighting for that to begin. Finally began, trial begins, and in the blink of an eye, it's over. So my reaction and my response to that, I don't know what the heck my body, my mentality, my emotions were doing, and I still don't. And my sis was just giving me time. And I thank her for that. I love her for that, because I needed it. But we did text back and forth, her checking on me checking on her. And then 3 weeks later, the older sister goes first, and then Tamika goes the next day. And then I understood. I said, this is why I wasn't allowed to feel anything, because I was about to be hit with 2 big hurts. One day behind the other. One sister behind the other. And I thank the Lord for that as well. Because with Shirley, she's the older sister. Her passing, that blow wasn't as hard. I said, okay, all right, she not sick anymore. She don't have to worry about doctors and nurses and people coming in, poking and prodding and, disturbing what little rest she's getting. And she's not in pain anymore. She's not sick anymore. She's resting in the Father's arms. Okay. All right. I could chuck that one up. But the next morning, around the same time, I got the call on Shirley the day before. I get a call on Tamika. That is the one that knocked me down, because I just didn't understand that. I'm like, nope, there's nothing wrong with her. But I'm like, nope, that's not true. And I knew I was lying to myself, because another sister had called and told me. And I'm like, she wouldn't have called me and told me that if she didn't know. There's no way in the world. So yeah, this is positive. Tamika's gone. And it just hurt so bad. And I just remember standing up from where I was, which is where I'm sitting right now. And I walked in my kitchen. And I stood there. And I said, she left me. And while I'm standing in that kitchen, just real quick memories of all the times, I'm in there cooking us our fish dinner. just a few feet off from the kitchen in the den is where I would do her hair. And everything would just hit me just at one time. So I immediately walked outside because I'm like, this is not, what is this? It was just not comprehensive. And then I asked the Lord, why did you take her? And he quickly responded, you answered your own question. He reminded me of what I said in my kitchen. She left me and she was taken. He brought to my recollection Matthew 24:41. Two women will be grinding in the mill. What is it? Two women will be grinding with the hand mill. One will be taken, one will be left behind. And that made perfect sense because Tamika and I were always cooking. So she was taken away and I was left behind. Now that grinding at the mill, the grinding at the mill is what women would do when it came to grinding seasons, those type of things. Seasons, wheat, whatever else was used to cook. So that's why it made perfect sense for me and Tamika. In biblical days, they would be grinding that, with the stone. They would have the seasoning, the wheat or whatever, lying on one stone, and they would have another big stone, grinding it down to size, however fine they wanted it, so they would do it that way. And it's the same thing now in modern times. If you were to have a seasoned bowl and you would have your grinding stone in your hand, grinding the season with that, same thing. So that made real perfect sense to me. I was like, man, now I'm grinding by myself. I'm preparing that food by myself. And yeah, it hurts. I would never have the thought or even believe that you could grieve someone more than you can grieve your own child. And I'm grieving my sister as if she were my child. It hurts. At any given moment, I could just cry. Just the thought of her. And even just the thought to know that she's not here. Times where I would pick up and text or call her or even just go by. I can't do that anymore because she's not here. I can't even tell you how bad that hurt. My son, I can't wrap my arms around him and tell him I love him anymore. We can't joke with each other anymore. We can't have those disagreements anymore. But where I would always tell him, in the end, son, I don't have that anymore. And I miss that from him too. But as life goes on, I'm just learning that with each loss of a loved one, with each passing of a loved one, the hurt is different, but it still hurts. And it's not that you love one more than the other. It just hurts. However effective that person was in your life, and that gets taken away from you, that is a level of pain that you feel. My son, I carried him, I birthed him, raised him, loved him with everything I had. He was taken from me. That hurt. Someone took my child away from me. My sister, someone I've known all my life, helped me raise my kids. I helped her raise her kids. We are sharing each other's grandchildren with one another. She laid down, didn't get up. That hurts. It hurts that I couldn't save my son. Out of all my life that I've been protecting him and keeping him from hurt and danger, I couldn't keep him from someone murdering him. All my life, my sister's been supportive to me. I've been supportive to her. Now she's gone. I don't have her support. I don't have her love. It hurts. It hurts. Even now, I'm suffering with a cold. And my sister, we would take care of each other when we got sick. She's not here. I had to take care of myself. Just to have those texts or calls from her. Hey, you need something? Or from her just swinging through here, dropping off something. Or her calling me. Let me know she was sick. Or I just checked on her and she was sick. And I'm taking her something by there. Doing something for her. Just the love and the camaraderie and the support of a sister being gone. Oh, it hurt so bad. So much more I believed that we were going to do together. then now we're not going to do. That hurts. To not be able to sit and laugh and talk for hours, comfort each other, correct each other, love on one another, feed one another, support one another, ride with one another. Sometimes we would take rides. It's just for that to be gone. It hurts. To know I'm not going to do that with her again, it hurts. So this is what I encourage you all to do. And I'm going to do it as well because, I still have sisters. I still have brothers. And even though this one whom I was very close to is gone. And I may not do the things with them that I did with her. This is why I encourage you all to do. Whatever relationships you have with your siblings, allow them to continue to grow. Allow them to continue to become stronger and allow more love to reign than hurt. I know you're not going to agree on everything and you may have some disagreements, but I implore and I encourage you all to not let any type of disagreement turn into an argument or something that will cause you all to fall out to where you cannot recover. I encourage you all to do that. I recall it was probably maybe 20 years ago. Tamika and I had a disagreement about something. That next day we fixed that. We never talked about it again and we never allowed it to happen again. We allowed it to make us stronger and better. And the bond was still unbreakable. No one or nothing could come in between us. And that was the only time we had ever had a disagreement. Not even growing up as kids. The disagreement came as adults. And we didn't even let 24 hours feed that. We fixed it. Another reason why I love my sister so much. Neither one of us was afraid to admit when we were wrong. And neither one of us were bigger than the other to where we couldn't take correction. So I encourage you all with that. Love on your brothers and sisters. Take trips together, to have dinners together. Whatever your relationship is that you get along with your siblings. I know everybody isn't the same, but whatever relationship that works for you and your siblings, please keep that. You don't ever know what way that's going to go in terms of growth. I'm believing for increase for everyone who's listening, not decrease. Increase in your relationships with your siblings. Increase in love, increase in power, increase in support, increase in prosperity more than money, increase in family. You all continue to love on each other, support each other, love on each other's children, support one another's children as well. Just be family and enjoy and love on one another. You all have a good day.